What's up guys, Woody here back with another Gwent video and today we are reacting to the pretty damn big news of the new expansion in Gwent coming at the end of this month, 28th of June, like literally 11 days as of recording this. Maybe it's even sooner from when you're watching this. The new expansion brings a complete new faction called the Syndicate. If I keep referring to them as Novigrad, I apologise. It's because I was playing in the PTR, that's what they were called. That's their theme. Just trying to give it a little bit of backstory, I suppose, on their theme for people who don't know Gwent or don't know The Witcher at all. I'm not the most knowledgeable person from the Witcher universe, but I know my basics and I know of it enough, shall I say. So, as I said in the dev stream, actually, this faction, or the original idea for the faction, which was Redania, has been in the works since 2017. Redania is something they always wanted to add to the game. Apparently, a little tease they gave at the end is there's lots of cards for Redania made, ready to go. So we're pretty sure we can see an expansion later on. Sorry for the notifications popping up. But we're pretty sure we can see later on the Redania faction. But we're not here to talk about Redania, we're here to talk about Syndicate and Novigrad. So, if you don't know, Novigrad is a free city in the Witch universe. Now, a free city is basically a city that hasn't got a king. It has effectively no rules, no laws. So it's dog eat dog. It is, you're not first, you're last. It's brutal. It's full of crime. It's full of everyone trying to best themselves. And it's full of gangs. And that's exactly what this faction brings. It brings 5 gangs to the fray. Each gang brings a new leader, and that's what you play as. There's some leaders you will know, and there's one completely new leader called Gundren. Okay, so Gundren is the complete new leader. She's completely new to the Witch universe. She's not in the book. She's not in the games. They literally made her, and they're kind of, as they said, they want to build on, like, there's no reason why Gwent can't extend on the Witcher lore, which I think is brilliant. I think it's great, like, telling a story through cards, and I'll get on something a little bit later on, because they pointed out something in the stream, which is super cool. But anyway, what I want to do now is, in case you haven't seen it, I'm going to quickly throw the trailer up now. It's like 1 minute 30. If you have seen it, then watch it again. I think it's a pretty damn cool trailer. If you haven't seen it, this is a trailer for the Syndicate, the new faction, Novigrad. It kind of shows you the different leaders. It shows you some of the art style work. It shows you some of the animated cards. And it shows you kind of the basic gameplay on an overview. Then we'll jump into the actual dev stream. We'll go through the mechanics I showed off. We'll go through the cards I showed off. Not all of them, just some of them. And then we'll share my impressions at the end. I want to keep this under 15 minutes, guys, because the idea of you watching this reaction is to get my reaction to it, but also it saves you time going to watch the full dev stream, which is 50 minutes long, nearly an hour. But yeah, so let's throw up the trailer now. Check the trailer out, and then we'll be straight back and we'll chat about the new expansion.
The North, a land of so many realms. Left and right, they ask you to bend the knee to this or that king. For those who are unable or unwilling, stands the free city of Novigrad. Home to a great faith, great commerce, master craftsmen, the rich, and of course, the poor. And this great urban cauldron has become a breeding ground for all those criminally inclined. For years, chaos rules Novigrad's underworld. Till now, with petty rivalry set aside, an alliance of coin has been forged. The Syndicate is born.
So that was a trailer. Again, I think the trailer looks so sexy. I think the trailer looks so good. But jumping onto the actual news now, the expansion. So as I said, there are 5 stars. If I keep moving my hair back, guys, it's so hot in here. It's ridiculous. Like, the UK is actually hot. Who would believe it? But anyway, 5 gangs, 5 leaders, 1 free. Gundren is going to be completely free. On that, I will say there's not going to be a starter deck. They did say straight off the bat there's not a starter deck coming for this faction. And I actually agree with their reasoning. The Syndicate is not a beginner's faction. It's not an easy faction to play. There's a whole new mechanic, which I'll get into in a second. So you kind of need a base understanding of Gwent before you start jumping into this stuff here. And but they did say obviously they didn't want you to be unlocking cards through kegs, like be buying Novigrad kegs, getting these cards, but not have a leaders play with them without the reward points. So they are giving you a leader completely for free, which is Gundren. So there is no starter deck. I think that's fine. Personally, I think that's absolutely fine. There's only 94 cards coming. I say only. There's 94 cards coming in the expansion. And if they make a starter deck, they'll have to give away maybe 15, 16 cards for free for starter decks. And then, yeah, it also kind of goes... You got to remember, guys, this is a free-to-play game. They have to support themselves somehow. I'm fine with there not being a starter deck, personally. The fact they're giving away a leader for free is more than they've done in the past, and I think that's a nice little touch. But anyway... so, as I said, the expansion has 94 cards, and they are all Syndicate cards. They're all built for Syndicate. There's no neutral cards. They're, what they've got instead is something that's really interesting, and I hope to see more of in the future, and that is dual faction cards. Now, these are cards, for example, there are some pirates in Syndicate that work in the dock areas, and these can be played in Skellige, because they're kind of pirates, and they can be played in Syndicate factions. There are also some dwarf, part of the Cost Cutters, or Crown Splitters, sorry. Crown Splitters is their gang, and because they're dwarfs, they can be played in the Syndicate, and they can be played in Scoia'tael, which again, I like the fact that they carry over. Lots of these mechanics actually really nicely feed into Syndicate, and feed into the other faction. And they've really genuinely taken time to kind of make sure the synergy kind of goes across the board, which is hats off to CDPR. I can imagine it's not an easy job, but they've done a really good job with it. So the dual cards, there are 15 overall, basically meaning we're getting kind of 15 neutral cards, kind of, but they can be played in, all of them can be played in Syndicate along, and then 3 in each other faction. I was super hyped to see about the dual cards or the dual faction cards, and I hope that is something they extend on in the future, because I think that's really nice. It kind of adds into the lore in a different kind of way, like this split alliance or allegiance, shall I say, to whatever. But so the Syndicate, they have a completely new mechanic. The way this mechanic works is it's Crown Splitters. Crown Splitters, for those who don't know, or Crowns, sorry. It's Crowns, for those who don't know, that's Novigrad's currency. When you go to Novigrad, the crowns is currency that you spend in Novigrad. Now, these guys are all fighting for currency. They want the money. So you'll get cards that will play, you'll play, and they have an ability called Profit. We'll go through the mechanics more in a minute. And then that will give you cards. Now, in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, if I use my mouse, down like over here in a game, you'll have like a bank. It'll kind of stack up for you. Now, that bank can only go up to 9 crowns. It can't go any higher than 9 crowns, okay? Starts at 0, goes up to 9 crowns. Some cards will have abilities that will ask you to spend that currency. So you play them for the base power. They still have deploy abilities, but some have like additional abilities that you can use to spend currency. So all of a sudden, you're balancing the math on the board, the math of like maybe deploy abilities, but also the math of, wait a minute, if I play this card, am I going to go over my crowns and then lose 2 crowns? So is that a bad time to play? Do I spend this elsewhere, then play it so I get a better profit? Like, it's a whole new math mechanic coming into the game, which is brilliant, but I will kind of wrap up my thoughts on it all at the end of this video. So the way it works is you can max at 9, you play cards. Now, crowns can carry over. So let's say, for example, I end round 1 with 9 crowns. When I go to round 2, my crowns are split in half, and rounded down. So if I finish with 9 crowns, round 2, I will have 4 crowns. It will split down to half, but round down. So that might answer the question that actually, do I play one more turn and go to 8 crowns? Maybe I've got a card somewhere that asks to spend 1 crown to do its ability. I can use that to maybe put a bit more pressure on my opponent, because I'm not going to actually lose anything on the carryover. It's going to go to 8, that's going to cut in half, down to 4. I'm still going to get 4 crowns to open with on turn 1, round 2. So that's the way the crown system works. As I said, I have played in the PTR. I'm not going to go into it too much because there's lots of cards I've played with that aren't announced yet, so I'm not going to ruin anything for anyone. But the crown system is brilliant. It's genuinely brilliant. It works so nice with the cards, and the abilities that you're asking to do to spend crowns on work wonderfully. Like I said, we're going to go into mechanics pretty soon, actually, on the on this video. But That's the way the mechanic works. It's a whole new mechanic, and it's wonderful. It's brilliant. It really kind of not flips the game on its head, but it does a lot to make it feel fresh. So what we're going to do now is jump into some cards. Now, there is a catalogue of, they showed off 20 cards today. I'm not going to go through every single of 20 cards and show what they are. They've got 4 cards on their website that highlight the kind of the new mechanics. 4 or 5 cards anyway, that highlight the new mechanics. And that's what I want to do. I kind of want to talk through new mechanics, talk about some combos that I've found. I can't say too much because they will, obviously, cards that haven't been revealed yet. That's not fair on CDPR. That's not fair on anything else. But I'll be talking about cards that are in the game now, like how they can work and giving reference for that, especially for new players who normally follow this channel. It might break it down a little bit easier for them. So if we jump straight over to the website, and we can see here's the trailer you guys just seen. So 5 different gangs. First gang here is going to be for, sorry, I haven't got the card names up here. I have Grand Inquisitor. So Grand Inquisitor, 4 body, 10 provisions, okay? So profit 4, you can see here, profit 4, that is the amount of coins or crowns you get when you play the card. So I play the card, he comes down for a 4 body, I instantly, my little ticker down here goes up to 4. So bang away, straight away, I've got 4. Fee is then an ability I can spend. Now, think of it like order, but the big difference between order and fee is fee doesn't have summoning sickness. For those who don't know what summoning sickness is, when you play order, unless you have zeal, you have to wait a turn to then pop the order ability. If I play this guy, I can then get 2 pops of this ability straight off because he's profits 4. He's put 4 in the bank. I have 4 crowns in the bank. I can spend 2 on the ability. I can spend another 2. And the spending the ability spawns a Fire Swarm Zealot and summon it to this row. You can probably instantly guess this is kind of a swarm deck. That's exactly what we're doing here. If we had the ability with a full bank of 9 coins to spawn 4 cards, all of a sudden this guy's getting huge value. Like over time, he's an engine. He's popping cards. He's popping cards. He's popping cards. The Grand Inquisitor. Trying to get my words out now. The Grand Inquisitor uses Firestorm Priests. Playing this in PTR, I can say this because I mentioned it in the stream. Your board just gets freaking rammed full of these cards, and there is so many mechanics that kind of feed into the cards even more. Now, one thing I will say is you're pretty susceptible to something like a Gimpy because you have lots of the same card on the board. They drop a Gimpy, you're probably going to lose. That's pretty much the only card that's really going to go against this kind of swarm mechanic. But yeah, that's what it is. Profit puts it in the bank. Fee is something you can keep spending. There's no limit on how many times you can use the fee or use the fee ability. You've got the money in the bank. You can keep using the fee ability. Okay. Up next, this is a crime card. Now, crime cards are special cards. Okay. So you play this card on the turn. This one here gives you profit of 6. It's 6 provisions, profit of 6. You might think that seems a bit weak in terms of I'm not getting a body. It's costing me 6 provisions. It's only giving me 6 profit. Whereas this guy here is only 4 more provisions. He's giving me profit of 4. And he's getting me an ability. And he's got a 4 body. I can't say much. This card and lots of crime cards feed into... Well, I can say about crime. Crime feed into another mechanic we got onto in a minute. But this card in particular has some nice combos with it. It does. There's some nice combos that will pop off with this card as you start learning the other cards. It can get very, very powerful. 6 crowns on 1 turn, plus what you might have in the bank already, can be devastatingly huge. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Then we have down here. Now, I'm going to mention a little bit more on this card in a minute. But, so Crown Splitter Thug. So Crown Splitters are the dwarf guys. These guys are the cutters. I can't remember what they're called now. But they're like psychopaths. Like, imagine the Joker from Batman in a faction. Every single one of them is absolutely lunatic. So this card here, 3 body, 5 provisions, has an ability called Intimidate. And it has a deploy ability. We all know what deploys. We play the card. It damages a unit by 2. So instantly it's getting its 5 value just by playing the deploy. Now, Intimidate feeds into these crime cards, and that is every time you play a crime card with an Intimidate card on the board, it buffs by 1. Imagine a Similat, imagine Thrive, those kind of ones that tick by 1 every time you play a card that's either higher body for Thrive, or you play a card that isn't in your starting deck for a Similat. These are exactly the same. You play a crime card, it ticks by 1. Okay, so it's getting its 5 value. You play 2 crime cards, it's getting 7 value for 5 provisions. That's pretty tidy. You may be even removing a card as well. And yeah, it's pretty nice. It kind of feeds into to what they're going for. Now, it doesn't have a profit, but what's nice about this card, and they point this out on the stream, is this card actually kind of tells a story. So there's another card that they showed off today where this guy's basically attacking the dwarf, and that's why the hand is bandaged, and it kind of is revenge. So they're really kind of trying to tell a story with this Syndicate expansion, which is amazing. Like, they don't have to do that. They can throw cards out and just focus on the mechanics, but they're actually focused on the artwork feeding into a story. And there's something else they're doing to feed into a story, which I'll get onto towards the end of the video, which again is really nice. Is this the last card? No, second from last card. We have Sea Jackal, Sea Jackal. So Sea Jackal is a 4-body and a 4 provisions. Easy, okay, 4 for 4. Wait a minute, he has a fee. Well, we know what fee is. We know I spend money from my bank and I boost myself by 2. Well, I mean, this card seems pretty powerful. He's going to pretty much always get plus value. Hoard. Now, Hoard is basically if you have that amount of money in your bank, you do this ability. So perfect example being, you play this guy when you have 9 crowns in your bank. You pay 2, you still have 7 in your bank. So then all of a sudden you're boosting him by 3 for that 1 buff. Now you're down to 7, you buff him again, he's boosting by 3 again, because when you pressed fee, he had 7 in the bank. So now he's going down to 5. And now when you buff him, because you've got less than 7 in there, you're not hoarding the money, he'll buff by 2. So you could get this guy late on, like last play, and all of a sudden he buffs by 6, 10. He buffs by 10. So he comes out for 14 for a 4-cost card, and you empty your bank out. Pretty bonkers. Pretty bonkers. I love the artwork of this guy. I think it's cool. It looks dark. Yeah, I just think he's a really cool card. And the final one they've got, these are the psychopaths. These are the nut jobs of faction. Their leader is Horson Jr., a great character from the games. If anyone's played the games. And these guys, I think they're called Casino Bouncers. These guys, and they have a perk or a mechanic called Insanity, and they have a fee. Summon all copies of this unit from your deck to the row. So we all know what that is. It's finning. It's a finning card. Insanity is a very interesting mechanic, and there are cards that really play on this. And I don't think we see any, like, not meta, but I don't think we see super powerful Insanity decks for a little while after the expansion, because I think there's definitely Insanity decks in there that are going to be super powerful. People just need to learn how to exploit them. So what Insanity does is, if you don't have the coin, so I play this guy turn 1, I've got no profit, I've got nothing in the bank, I can take 2 of his life, so then he goes down to 2, but I still pull the other one out. If I had 1 coin in the bank, I would go down to 3, spend a coin, and then pull the other card out. There are then cards that kind of play on the whole Insanity, self-damage vibe. A little bit like Skellige, but not in a kind of, not as a fully realised archetype. Just as a kind of a way to fluff out a deck, a way to make a deck a little bit more kind of dangerous with this Insanity mechanic. And yeah, it looks, it's super powerful. Okay, we can click here, and these are the more cards that have been revealed. Saying this to Facebook, hopefully I haven't got to log into Facebook. But so yeah, they are the main mechanics that have been shown off on the so far. Okay, we have we have one more mechanic that we haven't spoken about, and that is Tribute. So this card here, this is my favourite card from the PTR. I think it's a lot of people's favourite card from the PTR. This card is super good. So this card here, it's Maurice. I always pronounce this wrong. I pronounce it wrong the whole time. But basically, you deploy him, damage an enemy unit by 4. Tribute at 6, destroy a target instead. Now, Tribute is a one-time offer. You play this card, you need to have 6 coins in your bank. And then when you play it, it will give you an option. Pay Tribute, don't pay Tribute. If you pay the Tribute, you'll get the full, you just clear the card off the board. So you last play, you stockpiled your stuff up. They've played a Glusty Warp from Maracas Queen. You pop this guy out, you just kill the Glusty Warp, and he comes out for a 4-body. Pretty damn good for 9 provisions. Honestly, I think this guy gets nerfed pretty early on. I'm amazed they kept them at this from the PTR. He was almost auto-include in many decks. Just getting the 4 value off him is pretty solid. But as last play, just clearing an enemy off the board is pretty nuts. He was my favourite card. I love the artwork on him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there is a Facebook link if you want to see. These are all the cards they spoke about today. There are more. I mean, the artwork. I love the artwork from this faction, but I'll get on to that very soon because I want to speak more about that. There are basically, the way they're doing it is there's going to be 6 cards announced every day by different content creators. Someone like myself, a Gwent partner, is going to be able to reveal a card to you guys. So 6 new cards a day will be shown off. They'll be then stuck up on their social media channels so you can kind of keep up with them. What I will be doing is, once a lot more cards have been announced, I'll then do a whole video on cards to craft in Syndicate, what you want to be looking for early on in Syndicate. If you end up pre-ordering, which again I'll go into in a minute, then what cards you want to be looking for in those kegs. But yeah, that's the cards, that's the mechanics, that's the Syndicate, that's the faction. So before I jump into my full thoughts on it all, the expansion's come 28th of June, pretty damn soon. It's the couple of extra things coming with it. There's a free game board. So if you're playing Syndicate, so if you are playing Syndicate and you're on red coin, I believe it is, isn't it? Or blue coin, I can't remember which way it works now. But if you're board on show basically and you're playing a Syndicate deck, you get a free board. You can play a Syndicate board. They didn't show it, but apparently it's really cool. Apparently it looks really nice. Last thing I want to point out is they have said that basically where they've done the quick switch like last minute from Redania to Novigrad or the Syndicate, a lot of the bronze premium cards, the animated cards, aren't actually finished. So if you are lucky enough to pull one of these cards from a keg, maybe even if you pre-order the premium kegs, then you'll get a little note saying, look, here's the card, you've got the card, you can play it as a base card, as a non-animated card, but when they're available it will upgrade to an animated card. The reason is they didn't want to hold off the whole expansion by a month just because they didn't have some bronze premium cards ready. It was all to do with a lot of the gold cards they could animate, because obviously there's not tons of gold cards, but a lot of the commons, the bronze and the rares, they changed heavily apparently from Redania's expansion, the original idea for the game or for this expansion. So that's one of there. So I mean, I can understand that. I'd rather have the cards and just play them. I'd rather have the expansion and just play it and then get it updated as it goes along. And yeah, so I'm not too fussed by that at all. It's annoying they're not there from the start, but it doesn't matter too much. Like, in my opinion, I'd rather just have the expansion, have the cards, and play it. One last thing is the pre-orders. I really like the approach they've got on this. So when Crimson Curse launched, there was one pre-order. You had to get 50 kegs. You had to get you got 50 kegs, and you got the premium card backs, the like pretty damn sexy looking monster style card backs. And I think it was like 40 quid in the UK. The way they've done it this time is there's 2 options, and I think this is really nice because you've got someone like so there's someone who I chat to a lot on Discord called Folly, or Afraid of Folly, plays Gwent on PS4. They're not like super. They enjoy Gwent. They like playing the game. They play like maybe 2 to 5 games a day. They're not someone like myself or other people maybe watching this video who've got 600, 700, 2,000 hours or whatever into the game. They're fully committed to Gwent. And the option for someone like Folly is £15 in the UK. Gets you 15 15 standard kegs and a pretty damn sexy looking animated card back set for the theme. But then someone like myself, who maybe wants the animated cards, who wants to put a bit more money into it, they have something. They have a £30 pre-order, which is 20 premium kegs. So every card is guaranteed to be animated, and a slightly different card back. It's basically the same as the other one, but it looks like it's at night time. Basically, it's called I can't remember what it's called now. Shadow version, whatever it is. Personally, I'm going to buy both. I know people are like, "Well, why are you buying both?" I've got 600 hours in Gwent. I love Gwent. I want to support CDPR for the game. Like, I only buy these expansions. I don't ever spend any other money in the game. So once every 3 months, 4 months, giving them 40 quid, 45 quid is my way of saying thank you. But yeah, it's nice to have the 2 options. It's nice to have the 15 quid and the £30 option. Now that wraps up the formalities. That wraps up everything about the expansion. We know how many cards coming. We know that stuff. So what do I think about Novigrad, about the Syndicate? Guys, I think this is genuinely brilliant. I really do. I I think they have smashed it with this expansion. As I said, I have played it in PTR. There's been some changes since PTR. I had a lot of fun playing the cards in PTR. What I really like about this is CDPR, like, if we look at any other card game, any other digital CCG, so many expansions, they offer new mechanics, but they often just go, well, this card game done this kind of mechanic. Maybe if we take something from that and we put it in here. Gwent done it with Crimson Curse. Like Death Wish was already there, but Death Wish was really a lot more realised with Crimson Curse. Death Wish has been in almost any card game I've played. There's so many mechanics that I've already played before. They're just worded differently and they work differently with different cards in Gwent. What I love about the Novigrad, what I love about the Syndicate is it really feels like they've sat down, they've been like, okay, we want to make something that fits in with this lore, fits in with Novigrad, fits in with these guys. How can we make them all obsessed with money? Well, let's make it a mechanic, and that feels brilliant. Like playing it in PTR, it felt super fresh, it felt fun, it felt new, and that's what games need sometimes. And it's this kind of support that CDPR give Gwent on a consistent basis. I've spoken about them sometimes. I don't like the way they nerf cards so heavily, and I'm guaranteed some of these cards will get nerfed. There's no denying that. But let's take our hats off to these guys when they knock it out of the park, and that's exactly what I feel like they've done with Novigrad and the Syndicate. I love the mechanic of the crowns. I love some of the cards. The artwork is just delightful, like really, really nice. It really feeds into that grimy, underworldy kind of thievery, just no holds barred town. Like it feels like that. I feel dirty sometimes looking at these cards, and I should be like that. I'm playing with a faction that are in like the underworld of grime and crime, and that's brilliant. Like the cards are wonderful, and I can't wait to see the animated premium cards as they come into the game. I can't wait for it. I honestly can't wait for it. I'm super hyped, super hyped. I will be having tons of new to Gwent stuff for this. I'll be having some deck videos for it. I've really got some deck ideas from ones I made in PTR. I need to wait and see if they've probably adjusted some provisions, so I'm gonna have to play around with them a little bit. But yes, definitely, I will definitely be having an in-depth guide on how to play the Syndicate on my new to Gwent series, and like I said, I'll be having another new to Gwent one with Syndicate cards you want to look out for, Syndicate cards you want to craft first. But guys, that's going to wrap this video up. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's a little bit different, but hopefully you liked it. Hopefully I kind of wrapped things up for you. Everything they've done in the dev stream. Hope a lot shorter. I don't know what the time is. Maybe 20 minutes. Hopefully it's a lot shorter. And yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think to it. I'd love to know, are you excited by these mechanics? Are you excited by this new faction? Let me know in the comments below, guys. I love hearing from the community. I love hearing from different players. New players and like veteran players. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like the video, give it a little like, because it honestly does make me smile. And if you want to keep up to date with more Gwent stuff, especially for a new player, I do have a new to Gwent series that is updated weekly. I am working on a ton of decks, guys. I promise a deck coming very soon. I've just been running out of time, but yeah, that's it, guys. Like, thank you so much for your support. It's so humbling. I love being part of this community, and you guys supporting me in this community is something it's very humbling. I love doing it, and I love playing Gwent, and I cannot wait to play the Syndicate on the 28th of June when it drops. I'll definitely be streaming it day one, guys, if you want to stop by. The link to my Twitch channel is in the description. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much again. Until next time, have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is where you are. And goodbye, guys. Thank you.